Okay, let's talk about it. Let's see what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, oh, dealing with someone that's married, guys. Yes. Um, anyone that is married, that goes from male or female, and they step out of their marriage, okay? 9 times out of 10, the reason why they're stepping out of their marriage is because they're not happy. They're not being fulfilled in their marriage. And their partner is still also not their friend. This can be the same thing with just standard relationships without being married. But when you're dealing with a married individual, male or female, they're not happy. Not only are they not happy, they're bored. Especially when you start talking about people that have been married for a long time. Um, when I say a long time, I'm talking about 10 years plus. People that have been married to their spouse since they got out of high school, or been married to the person since college. And this is the main person they've been with for 10 plus years. They're not happy. They knew they weren't really happy with the person before they even walked down the aisle. They knew that when they were walking down the aisle. Let's be honest about that. They knew they weren't married. They knew they weren't happy with this person, but they did what society told them to do. Maybe because the girl got pregnant, or maybe because he got you pregnant. So you decided to go ahead and get married to this individual because society says so, because it looks good. I don't want to have a child out of wedlock, or, I don't want to just have a baby mama. But it's self-destruction at best. It really is, because you are settling for something that you really don't want. And just like you have starter wives, you have starter husbands. So men aren't the only one that cheat in a marriage. Women cheat too. Of course, the saying goes, women cheat better than men. Based off of certain things I know, I would say yes. I would say that. You got some men out here that are really good at what they do, but you got women that can just not get caught. And you do have men that just can't get caught, but it's very rare a woman gets caught up in cheating on their husband. It's just, it happens. I mean, you start to see it, but it's not more common as a man cheating on his wife. Let's just talk about how they talk about, oh, this will just be friends. The ones that say, oh, we're going to just be friends, no strings attached. No, there are strings attached. There are strings there. There are emotional strings, physical strings, financial strings. No matter what they tell you, and no matter what you want to believe and go into this land of make-believe with them, it's still reality of what's going on. So you have the one that says, oh, we're just going to be friends. Oh, we're just friends. Well, first things first, their spouse should be their friend. That should be their best friend. So everything that they're doing with you, they should be doing with them. And they'll tell you, oh, I do that with them. They do that because they're obligated to, not because they really want to. It's because they're obligated to. And there's something going on. They could be just a selfish person. They want their cake and eat it too. Or there's a lot going on in that marriage that you don't know about, that they can't afford to walk away from that person. Financially, they can't walk away from that person because the person knows so much about them. They're afraid that the person would turn on them. They don't want to walk away from that person because of what society may say. Oh, and the best one ever, I'm staying for the children. First of all, people kill me when they think that their children don't see. Children are like sponges, okay? Especially when you have teenagers. If they're in, at this point, these kids are not not aware of what's going on in their household. They are in this day and age, just like they were back in the day, but even more so now. They can tap into the internet. Their friends can tell them what's going on, pulled up on their internet. Not everybody has parental advisory on all of their internet devices. So your kid's going to find out, and your kid's human too. They see what's going on. So when they start saying, "Oh, I'm only staying for the kids," your kid going to be screwed up during this process, and screwed up hopefully not, but that's what I'm saying, it's going to cause some emotional damage. Okay, it is, because they see the fighting, they hear the fighting, they see the body languages, they see it all. But that's one of the main ones that they use a lot. "Oh, I'm staying for the kid," or "Oh, I'm waiting for my kid to turn 18. Now, you have some side dudes and side women that can handle that. Well, I think they can handle that, because it does come to a head at some times where there's a tug-of-war process between the other person and the individual and in the marriage. Now, you got to know when to say enough is enough, because the married person's not going to do that. You want to know why? Because they're getting their cake and eating it too. They're going to fill you with so much BS that sounds so real and so true. But keep in mind, "Oh, but we're just friends, and this is what friends, you're my friend, and everyone doesn't need to know my business." Everyone gets that. Not everybody needs to know everything that's going on in your life, but most definitely your spouse should know who your friends are, just as much as your spouse should know what you're doing, where you're hanging out at, who you're kicking it with. They're your spouse. They should know. If they don't know, and they're telling you that they don't know, and they don't know, they just don't know. Some of them do know, and they don't care, because those are the ones that are okay with getting cheated on. They know they're getting cheated on, but they're staying for their own reasons as well. Their reasons could be because of the kid. Their reason could be because they chose to be a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home mom. Mostly you see it with stay-at-home moms, but you see this, and they're doing nothing but self-destructing themselves. Everyone in this situation is doing nothing but self-destruction. Then you have the ones that make the outside person the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and they have those labels. All is still the same: boyfriend, girlfriend, you're just my friend. And then you have ones that lie to your face. I mean, they're lying anyway. They're lying to their spouse. If you think they're not lying to you, you're crazy. If you think they're telling you the truth 100% of the time, even if you think they're telling you the truth 85% of the time, you are delusional just as much as them. You're delusional. And they know the certain people to prey on, those that will dwell in that make-believe with them. This is a reality that they've made of their own, even though it's not real. It's a reality that they know the facts of who they are as a person, and they know that they are not happy, they are bored, they know pretty much the marriage has come to an end, but they have all these reasons why they won't walk away. And then they pull you into it, and you get sucked into it because you allow it. We're human. I'm not knocking us for being human, wants and needs and things like that. So you got all these strings, even though there's no strings attached. You got all these strings pulling you this way and that way. When do you eventually cut the strings? When do you get tired of being Pinocchio? But they're good. They're good at finding someone that they feel as though is going to go along with the get along. They do. They have the gift of gab sometimes. These people have the gift of gab to keep luring you along because they have to have their cake and eat it too. I'm not getting this over here, so I definitely got to get it over there. And let's talk about what that does to your mental health. Okay? It destroys it. No matter how strong of a person you are, that destroys your mental health. You are playing mind tricks with yourself, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. You are playing with your mindset. You are playing with your mental health because you're living in someone's make-believe. Even though you're hoping that this reality, this make-believe will come reality, or you may be seeing it as reality, but you better not tell them the reality of it, even though it's the facts. No, you have to go along with their make-believe. You have to. The moment you don't, you are enemy number one. I've been there, done that, and let me tell you, it never fails every time. The moment you start speaking facts with someone that lives in a make-believe realm, you become enemy number one. It never fails. Also, normally people that cheat, the ones that cheat on their spouse, they have some level of narcissism in them, and they do a lot of gaslighting. You'll say, well, why are you treating me like this? And they'll come back with, why are you acting like this? You know I lied to you a couple of times, but how? But why are you getting upset? I'm going to even tell you to your face that I've lied to you. You should just be okay with that. You know why you should be okay with that? Because I'm helping you physically, I'm helping you financially, or it's you should get along with the get along because she's getting along with the get along, going along with the get along, or because he's going along with the go along. They still want you to mirror the habits of that individual because they need to find someone to go along with their cake and eating it too. Sorry about that, y'all. Well, my neighbors were talking to me. But that is what that is. You are destroying yourself. Everyone in this situation are self-destructing, especially if the spouse knows. And don't think this is the first time when they tell you, oh, this is the first time I've ever did this. Oh, I just don't jump out here and do this. They're lying. It's not the first time. It's not the first time. It might be a first time in a long time because they wanted to act as if they are trying to be this better person for the time being, and they've taken a little break, but they're still bored. They're still not happy in their marriage, and the anxiety that brings, the depression that you don't even see that you have in your subconscious, it brings so much anxiety and depression because you have to play in this make-believe land. And it's not even as good as Candyland. At least Candyland, you get some type of prize, a prize that doesn't bring you anxiety. No, you get you're in such an emotional, mental war when you're dealing with someone that is married. And like I said, some of them are good out here. I mean, they can have, and we know, back from the grandparents, great-grandparents, they will have a whole nother family on the other side of town or in another state. Uncles, aunts, people will have a whole nother thing going on. Do you not understand the mentality behind that, the emotional disorder that is on the borderline of being schizophrenic, somewhat also touching being a psychopath, because you have no feelings really for the other person, even though you're saying that you are the person that you're married to. You don't care about the feelings truly of the individual that you are dealing with outside your marriage. So that's like multiple personalities. You are playing one person over here, and then you're playing another person over here. That is insane. You are dealing with someone with a mental illness who is not secure within themselves. And no matter how much you say you can handle it, other person or the spouse, you really mentally can't handle it. You're really mentally self-destruction. We're going back to mental self-destruction again. You are, because that is not healthy unless, and this is the big unless and the big but, everyone is in agreement of what's going on, like a polygamous relationship. That is a whole different ballgame. And you have, now that polygamy and being poly this and poly this is starting to be like a very popular thing, you have men and women now that use that as a cover. Oh, so and so, oh, he or she already knows this because we've had these conversations. You weren't there. You don't know if the conversations were had. And how you know the conversations aren't being had, it's the running around. Oh, don't say nothing when so-and-so calls. And, oh, let me walk over here because I got a FaceTime. And no, then that means the person doesn't know. If the person knows, they will say, oh, I'm with so-and-so because I told you I was going to hang out with so-and-so. And we're getting ready to do this. And we're going to go do that. Meaning telling the truth. Meaning, I have to go meet up with so-and-so because I told them I was going to give them a back rub, or whatever it is that they're doing with so-and-so or the outside person, that inside person would know everything. That is what a poly relationship is. And some are so good, they will make you believe that they have told the other one. But see, that's a cover. That's a cover to put you in your place of saying, well, you can never go back and tell on me because I've already told you that I told this person. So now I'm playing even more mind games with you because I once again make believe. I'm making you believe that this other person knows about you. So it doesn't benefit you to get in contact with this other person because this other person knows. So that's playing mind games with someone. That is playing on words. That's mind games. And here you are believing this other person knows about you, and they really don't. They really don't. They really don't. Even if they labeled you as a friend to this person, they're not telling them the extent of the friendship. So, not knocking those that do that. I'm just saying, if you get involved with someone that is married, beware of your mental health. Even if you don't have anxiety, you don't deal with depression, it's going to develop because you're being treated like a toy. They're taking you off the shelf when they want to play with you, or like a trophy. Oh, I'm bringing you around these certain people to show you off, but I won't bring you around these people. So you're like that show and tell. When they went from this school, they show all this for show and tell. Now that they're over here at another school, they can still show this over here because those people don't know. If you kind of get my vibe, you get what I'm saying. This is what they do. It is really a sign of mental illness, and we don't talk about that. It really is. Everyone that's involved has something going on. Who say, oh no, that's just people that's not mental illness. That's just people being cheaters and this and that. But let's define what a cheater is. Matter of fact, you'll deal with somebody that tells you that they don't cheat. That the whole time y'all sleeping together, oh no, I don't cheat because I tell the truth. You don't know what was told, but you can tell what was and what wasn't told based off of their actions. If you're paying attention, if you're not sucked into their make-believe and their la-la land, if you are paying attention, you're going to know what was told and what was not told. So, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say there aren't benefits. Like we said, let's go back to the strings attached, but no strings attached. Them invisible strings that are attached, right? So, the financial part, you have some women out here that shake their purse. If you don't know what that means, you got some women out here that pay to play. You do. They get with these young men, buying PS5s and Xboxes, and you have women that do that. Just like you have men out here that'll take a couple of bills here or throw you a couple of chump change here and there, put some gas in your car, maybe give you a couple of dollars for your groceries, you name it. May come and give you a massage, a foot massage, get your nails done, get your toes done, get your hair done, give you a couple of dollars in your pocket. They're really shortchanging you, and you're really shortchanging yourself in the end. Even if you end up with this individual, point has always been proven, you're going to lose them the same way that you got them. They'll be, at the same time they're dealing with you, they're going to find something about you that doesn't suit them, especially if you are a realist. They see that you're catching on to their nonsense. They're catching on to the manipulation. They're like, oh my God, this person's catching on to the fact that I'm manipulating them. They caught on to a lie or two. Oh my God, now it's time for me to find someone else that I can manipulate and hopefully string along and get them just as good as the individual that I'm married to. Those are the facts. And they will live in denial all their lives. And those that are in a marriage with them will live in that denial until one day they wake up and they say enough is enough. Just like you being the outside person on the third wheel, or whatever, the side person, or whatever you want to talk about it, until you actually wake up and say, okay, I'm done with this. You know what I mean? But if you want to be a part of a relationship like that, let's go back to this. Won't you just be part of a poly relationship? It makes no sense. Just be a part where everybody knows about everybody. Everybody knows what everybody is doing. Financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everybody knows what's going on. Number 1, number 2, and number 3, number 4, number 5. How many of y'all want to have a part of this poly relationship? Everybody should know. We all can have a FaceTime. We all can go out to eat. As poly goes, we all can be X'd in the bed. But people like to play on that to secure a deal with a person. People like to use that as a cover and say, yes, this is who I am. Or let's really talk about, some of them are really poly people, but they're married to a person that doesn't believe in poly. And they can sit there and try to convince you that they believe in poly, or they're working on them. No, it's not working on someone to believe. That should already have been worked out. If it's not worked out and the other person doesn't know everything that's going on physically, mentally, emotionally, time-wise, they're cheating with you on that other person. Bottom line. I should say they're cheating with you. And for the other person, you're getting cheated on. And hey, if that's what you want to do, you want to do that, great. But beware of what it's going to do to you down the line. It causes a lot of trust issues as well. You have some women that can do this and not care and not give a darn, and it doesn't affect them at all. Same with men. It doesn't affect them at all. But there's certain things there. If you sit there and talk to them, it may not affect them to an extreme level or mid-level, but it does somewhere on a lower scale. You can just tell by the things they say, how they move, how they talk. So, dealing with someone that's married, it destroys your anxiety and your mental health. It really does. And if you did, and you will develop a mental strain, especially trying to figure out who you really are. You done got sucked up in this make-believe, and you don't believe in make-believe. Just like we all know Santa Claus isn't real. And then when we found out that Santa Claus really wasn't real, we were like, what? Just devastated as a kid. This is why staying in reality and not living in a land of make-believe of other people, and playing in the games and being a part of their deck of cards, playing you whenever they want to play you. Oh, today you're going to be the Joker. Today I'll make you the Queen. Nah, I'd rather have a spade today. Nah, you can be a club. You can be a five of stars. No, be control of your own day. But at the end of the day, you have to know who you are and your boundaries, setting healthy boundaries for yourself. Like I said, if you're going to do that, make sure everybody understands what's going on, because it's going to always go left. Always go left. So, ladies, gentlemen, if you're out here dealing in secret friendships and relationships because you're bored in your marriage, or you're unhappy, or you knew the marriage ended a long time ago, don't get other people involved. And other people, don't get involved with that. Let them come to you when they have healed themselves, they have moved on, you have seen the documents that they are really divorced, because they'll lie about that too. And you really do truly care about that person. If that person really cares about you, they will remove themselves from that situation and be 100% with you, because they have learned what they done wrong in that marriage. It doesn't matter if she's a wife or if she's a husband. But if you're okay where the chips fall, I wish you well. But make sure you are setting boundaries to have a healthy mindset. Okay? So, that's what I wanted to get off today. I just really wanted to talk about that, because so much of that is going on. Marriage in this day and time really holds no value. A lot of people aren't getting married. But those that are, sometimes you don't even know if they're married. People don't wear rings anymore. Of course, in society, that's what is a symbol of being married, not just a ring. The paperwork, and who walks around with their marriage certificate to say, hey, I'm married. Oh, I just want to prove to you that I'm married. You could tell me anything. And people do lie. You got women that lie about being married. You got people that lie about being in relationships because they don't trust the other person. They don't want someone to think that they're just gullible or they're just an easy catch. This is the reality. People think this doesn't happen. This really happens in real life, okay? I've dealt with it, and my experience with it has had some highs and some lows. Before being in my relationship for over 18 years, that I'm definitely going to touch on that with you guys, because that was a doozy in itself. And you don't always come out unscathed. You may come out with some bumps and some bruises, but as long as you know those are battle wounds that teaches you a lesson not to go back that way again, then that's a good thing. You shouldn't do a pity party for yourself, but at the end of the day, stuff like this goes on. So let's put it like this. You want to be, here we go. Everybody in North Carolina has a horrible muffler. I don't know what that's about here in North Carolina. It's so annoying. Everybody thinks they're Fast and Furious, so sorry about that. But anyway, if you want to be with multiple people, just be in a poly relationship and make sure everybody in the relationship is poly, not somebody's getting around to it. None of that. If you're going to do it, make sure everybody from jump is on board, okay? Meaning everyone knows about everybody. That is the bottom line. Don't get caught up in the nonsense. If you do, get what you can get out of it, and that's pretty much it, and move forward. That's the best advice I can give. Get what you can get out of it, have a time limit on it, and go. Because if you stay stuck up in it, it's not going to be good. It's just not going to be good at all. So that was it for today, guys. I'll be back with something else maybe later on. Who knows? Have a good one.